Fook Mental Health Association. The name Fook means health and wellness. Fook Mental Health Association provides mental health services, including case management, housing, group and family support, individual support, and other services for people of Chinese, Cambodian, Vietnamese, and Korean descent and their family. We also provide educational seminars for the general public and for professionals, and Fook has been around for over 30 years. So we have a project called The Journey to Promote Mental Health. A little bit of an overview and background of it. Settlement is a health issue. Numerous studies show that while immigrants are healthier upon arrival to Canada, after a few years their health declines. And we call that the healthy immigrant effect. Despite their declining health, immigrants underutilize services, especially mental health services. Because settlement workers are often the first and the most frequently seen contact person, it is imperative that they have knowledge of mental illness and related community resources. Therefore, the journey to promote mental health began in 2008 and it continues to this day. So far, we've reached over 700 frontline staff and over 250 agencies across Southern Ontario in French and English. So our objective is to enhance knowledge of mental health among settlement workers and increase their capacity to serve newcomers more effectively. We do this through a training format that's informative and interactive, including small group discussions, case studies, role-playing, guest sharing, and we focus on people acquiring practical knowledge and day-to-day skills. So we're not theoretical, we're very, very practical in the information that we present. So a brief overview of our training content. Day one, it's a 2-day-long training process. Day one, we focus on migration and mental health related issues, including holistic health, so not just the body, but the mind, the body, and the spirit, and different ways to maintain. The social determinants of health, which especially impact newcomers, including poverty, marginalization, isolation. The migration process and how it impacts a person's health and their mental health, and including that would be refugee issues. The myths and the facts of mental health and mental illness, because there are a lot of misinformation out there. We address stigma. We introduce the major categories of mental illnesses, early identification and warning signs. We talk about prevention and treatment, and then once again, the practical application of knowledge. The practical application of knowledge is done through case studies of actual Fook clients, and what we do is we have the participants discuss what they would do if they were in that situation. Day two, we discuss culture, the mental health system, and community resources. We have a cultural competent approach to intervention and communication. We like to have a strength-based approach in supporting individuals. So when people come to you with an issue, it's important to identify their strengths. A lot of people forget that newcomers have a lot of strengths. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of determination, a lot of intelligence to go through the whole migration process. So when somebody comes to you struggling with housing or employment factors, it's important to remind them of the strengths that they do have. We also introduce people to the mental health system in Ontario, community resources, how to make appropriate referrals, and then we end up the day talking about the importance of self-care and workers' own mental health to prevent burnout, because we all know that it's a very high-stress job field to work in, and it's very important for us to take care of ourselves. The things that participants report liking the most include role-playing and case studies. They really enjoy the content, discussions. They like our facilitators. That we have a group of 4 or 5 different facilitators, including me, and we all have very different styles of presenting, and we all have different knowledge and background, which the participants really appreciate hearing. Also, most of the other presenters, everybody except for me, in fact, are immigrants, so they can share that experience as well. Sometimes we have consumers who come to share when we do presentations in Toronto. We often have a Fook client come and share their story. We have one lady from Cambodia who shares her story of being through the war and then coming to Toronto and having post-traumatic stress disorder and hallucinations. So she often shares her story of what she's gone through. Participants really like learning about local resources, and one of the best things that they enjoy is networking among each other, because even though we do have 211 and 411 and all that stuff, not everything is listed. And sometimes it's important just to know someone's name to get that edge and jump the queue a little bit. So that's one of the other really big benefits of networking. And then the self-care, of course. The direct impact that we've ascertained from the training, myths have been dispelled. People have acquired actual proper knowledge about what mental illness is. A lot of stigma has been reduced, because even though we are care providers, we're not perfect ourselves, and a lot of us, we may have stigma and biases and stereotypes that we're not aware of. So during the presentations, we discuss that and try to break down why somebody has a certain stereotype and to address that. A lot of people's confidence, they report their confidence being increased after learning more, especially with the practical exercises, because then they can say, yes, that is what I will do when I deal with a similar situation. And the increased knowledge and increased ability to care about themselves. So we have a few quotes here from past participants. Basically, everyone has been very receptive to the information. We offer the training courses for free, which is another really good incentive to broaden the availability. And thank you very much. That's our project.